Today we are going to be taking a look at what would happen if the 1995-96 Detroit Red Wings, keep in mind that is the Detroit Red Wings team that has the all-time regular season wins with a record of 62-13-7, were to play in today's NHL. Would they break their own record? Would they win a Stanley Cup, which they were not able to do that year? Or would they fall short once again? Let's find out. Alright, so how's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another video here on the channel. Today we are going to be looking at the 95-96 Red Wings in NHL 18. This is a completely custom created team. I had to go basically and find the statistics from each player in that year, and the way that I created the players is I compared the stats and the points and stuff that they had in that season to today's NHL, which might be skewed a little bit considering that, goals are completely different today than they were 20 years ago. But that being said, this is the team that I've come up with. And here's a little bit of a quick history on the 95-96 Red Wings. So with 62 wins, the 95-96 Red Wings eclipsed an all-time record of most regular season wins, which had been set at 60 by the 76-77 Montreal Canadiens. Their 131 points during the regular season was the most since the 1976-1977 Montreal Canadiens accumulated 132 points, and that's still the all-time record today. They surpassed most of that year's NBA season wins, which is just absolutely crazy to me. The Seattle Supersonics went 64-18. The Chicago Bulls went 72-10, being the only two teams that were able to beat the Red Wings that year for wins in a sport. The Red Wings had two winning streaks of 9 games and had a 13-game unbeaten streak from Sunday, March 3rd, 1996 to Sunday, March 31st, going 12-0-1 during that stretch. Having the best record in the league, the Red Wings also got the President's Trophy that season. That's pretty much going without saying. During the 95-96 regular season, the Red Wings were the only teams to score at least one goal in all 82 of its games, which is pretty remarkable to not get shut out a single time in a year. While the team is remembered for its record-breaking regular season, it performed poorly in the playoffs. Detroit lost 5 games to Winnipeg and St. Louis, both teams that failed to get above 80 points in the regular season, including having to go to a decisive Game 7 against St. Louis. They were ultimately upset by Colorado, winning only 2 of the 6 games in the series, and failed to reach the Stanley Cup Finals. Also, some interesting facts during the regular season that happened that year. December 2nd, 95, the Red Wings played at the Montreal Forum and gave the Canadiens their worst ever loss in franchise history, which is an 11-1 win for Detroit. Montreal's goaltender Patrick Roy allowed 9 goals on 26 shots, 5 in the first period and then another 4 in the second period. That would also be the last game that Patrick Roy played as a Montreal Canadien, as he told the president of the Canadiens, Ronald Corey, that it's my last game in Montreal, where the next day he was traded to the Colorado Avalanche. March 6, 96, Chris Osgood became the 3rd NHL goaltender in NHL history to score a goal. On March 22nd, 1996, the Red Wings also scored 3 shorthanded goals and a 7-0 win over the Colorado Avalanche, which is just crazy. The Red Wings finished first with wins, 62 on the season, points 131, tied the Washington Capitals for the most shutouts with 9, allowed the fewest goals with 181, the fewest even strength goals with 128, the fewest power play goals with 44, and had the best penalty killing percentage in the league, which was an 88.27, which is just pretty crazy, honestly. So let's take a look at the team here. Here's who we've created. Here's who I decided to put on the team. You got some big names on here. Obviously, Steve Yzerman, Sergei Fedorov, Keith Primo down there, Kozlov there, and Larionov as well. Defensively, we have Nick Lidstrom and Paul Coffey, which is an absolutely stellar first pairing there. You have Fedorov and Konstantinov as the second pairing. Just an absolute mess of a name, and my Russian enunciation is very bad, so Fedorov and Konstantinov as the 2 second pairings there, and Mark Bergevin and Bob Rouse to round things up defensively for the team. Paul Coffey, obviously franchise potential even in the later days for him. Same thing with Nicholas Lidstrom, both franchise players. Fedorov, elite. Konstantinov is also a top 4 defenseman. I just gave him top 4 potential because I figured he would probably be on that second line there. As always, Mark Bergevin would be a top 6 potential, and Bob Rouse top 6 as well. Goalies, you have Chris Osgood and Mike Vernon. Mike Vernon obviously had franchise potential. He played in Calgary, played in Edmonton. He won just absolutely tons of things in his career as an NHL goaltender, but I figured at this stage in his career, it was towards the end of things. I gave him elite potential. Chris Osgood was the franchise face in Detroit for many cup wins, so I gave him franchise potential. A lot of people might say 90 overall is kind of pushing it for Ozzy, but honestly, think about all the things that Osgood did. 90 overall is probably a very safe bet for Osgood in the game, and I figured that's what we would do. So that is what the team looks like. That's what we've put together. We're going to be dropping this team in franchise mode in today's NHL and see what they can do. Can they break their record? Are they going to be able to beat their record at all? They're going to come short. They're going to win a Stanley Cup. Who's going to lead the league in points? What's going to happen? All is going to be found out. Make sure you guys let me know in the comment section right now what you think is going to happen. Are they going to break their record? If so, how much? Are they going to win the Stanley Cup? Are they going to completely flop, which I mean isn't going to happen, but if that's what you think is going to happen, if they're going to completely flop and just not even make the playoffs at all, let me know in the comments. Basically, let me know any of your predictions that you have right now before the simulation starts, before we get everything set on the way. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments section. So we are going to be substituting the current Detroit Red Wings for the 95-96 Red Wings. Figured it only makes sense that we take out the current wings and replace them with the older wings, so there's no two Detroit teams going on in this franchise mode. We're going to be doing 1 year, basically, to see what happens in that 1 year, where things go at the end of the year, and we'll go from there. So here is a look at the teams. You know, a lot of your teams are 90 overall. Edmonton, LA, San Jose, Anaheim. You come over here, Minnesota, Nashville with a 92 overall. Columbus has a 92 overall. Pittsburgh is an 89. And then you have the new Detroit Red Wings at a 95 overall. So overall-wise, they're the best team in the league, slotting into that Eastern Conference spot as they normally would. Wonder if that's going to make any difference in the simulation. We're about to find out. So here you have it. Here's what the settings that we're going to be going into in. The skills are going to be on Superstar. There's going to be no CPU trades just to kind of keep things as even as they can throughout the league. I've turned injuries off as well. Length of periods are 20 minutes. It's at a full sim style. This should be the most accurate representation of what would happen if there was a completely injury-free year, which again is impossible, but that's the great thing with NHL 18 is we can tweak these things. So a complete injury-free year, and we're going to see exactly what happens with the Red Wings in 1 year in today's NHL. All right, so we are completely sim past preseason, and it was an absolute walk for these guys over a majority of the teams. A 4-0 win against Florida, 8-4 win against Boston, won in a shootout against the Maple Leafs, so that's kind of a little bit questioning there that it went to a shootout. Won by a goal over Tampa, makes sense. 8-2 win against Buffalo. Lost to the pesky Montreal Canadiens, who seem to give this Red Wings team a hard time 4-2, and won 8-3 against the Senators. So that's a pretty good start. If that is any indication on what's going to happen come the actual season with one loss in 6 games or 7 games or something like that, I am A-okay for that. So let's actually go ahead and we're going to sim up to the first day. We're going to jump in this game, and we are going to be seeing basically what happens as it plays out basically for the first game of this. I figured that would be a good idea. So here we go, 8 times speed, first period against Minnesota, 2-2 for shots, 5-on-3 power play, so I don't know who took a penalty there, but that is not a good idea for Detroit. That is for sure. So still nothing in the first period. Shots are 6, 7, 8, so I don't know what's going on, really. They should be all peppering Minnesota like crazy, but they're not. So end of the first period, nothing happens. That's okay. Let's go ahead and jump into the second period here now. So Detroit's now starting to get some shots. Another power play for Minnesota is not good for us. 15, 16 shots. They're still out shooting us. And Doug Brown gets the first goal in today, and Stevie Y right behind them. 2 goals for Detroit. Just like that, opposite end of the ice, Devin Dubnyk could not stop those. So 2-0 right now against Minnesota. Shots are pretty even. Simulation pause going in the third period. Let's see if they can go ahead and finish that. 5-on-4, another power play from Minnesota. They're 0 for 3 tonight, so that's good. And we're continuing to come on down, come through the ranks. 10 minutes to go. They're out shooting Detroit quite a bit. Actually, it's not too bad, but the goals are what matter. And Detroit has 2 of those. Doug Brown getting the first one, Steve Yzerman getting the second one. And that does it. Sergei Fedorov gets the empty netter. That is the dagger. A 3-goal shutout for the first game in the regular season. That's pretty good against Minnesota, who's an actual pretty good team in this game. So there you go, against Minnesota. So let's go ahead, sim the first month here, and see what happens after the first month is done. So against Ottawa right now, and it's 5-3 win against Ottawa. The amateur scout probably going to be annoying there, but we'll just keep getting right into that. Dallas is a win. Arizona is a win. Vegas is a win. So 5-0 to start the season. Here's a big challenge, though, in the Tampa Bay Lightning. Are they going to win 3-0 against the Lightning and 3-1 against the Leafs and 8-0 right now? Okay, so they could very well break their record here. Lost to the Canucks. And to Buffalo. Okay, what was that? Overtime against Tampa Bay there. 3-1 win against Florida. Coming in against Arizona now, 10-2, and shootout win against the Coyotes. So 11-2 for the first month. Let's go ahead and do the second month of simulation here. See what happens. Going up against Ottawa again. Overtime win. It's a win for us, so it doesn't matter. Edmonton now. I'm going to deal with this really quickly. There you go. So that's done with. Overtime loss to the Oilers. So that's not good. And a win against the Canucks. So right there, trying to give us a trade. I don't want to do any trades right now. We're keeping the team the same. 4-3 win there against Calgary. 3-0 against Columbus. Going back up against Calgary again. An overtime loss to the Flames. Come on. I'm a Flames fan. I don't even like seeing that right now. Win against Buffalo and Colorado. Edmonton 6-1. That's a big win for us right there. Rangers lost to the Devils. So we already have 3 losses. It's not looking pretty good. I mean, we're 13-7, so we can lose another 10 games or so. Man, 2 season in and 5 losses it's not bad. 21-3-2 in the first 2 months of simulation. So let's go ahead and do another month here, and then we'll go ahead and we'll check out the stats and see how the league's doing after that. So that's 4-1 out against Montreal. Shootout win there against the Jets. They could honestly probably do it if they lost to St. Louis there, as I was about to say that. But I think that they could do it. 4-2, 25-4-2, and they're really not showing any signs of slowing up. You know, losing a game once a month is okay. Twice a month we can do that. But other than that, we just want to keep things good. You know, 5-3 win there, a 4-2 win there. That's very good. 28-4, another win there against New Jersey. 7-1, that's a big win after the loss there, and a loss to the Rangers. So 35-2. If we were to lose another 2 games, we still might be able to pull this off. So there's a 2-1 win against Pittsburgh to round out December. So at January 1st, the record is 31-5-2. That's pretty incredible, honestly. Like that's a really good record. If any team was on pace for that, like that would be crazy. So let's go ahead and check out the points for the team right now. Who's leading? Okay, so we're back. EA servers typically kicking us off. So let's go ahead and check out points. So Kozlov has the most with 39. Eisman has 36. Paul Coffey has 35 as a defenseman. He has 35 points as a defenseman. Nick Lidstrom has 21, and this is pretty accurate to what they actually did. Like I believe Paul Coffey had like 50 some odd assists this year, in 95-96. So 26 to like 3 months in, 35 points. That's pretty good. All right, Larionov there has 32 points. Fedorov with 29. Lidstrom 21. Doug Brown actually with 21 points there. Keith Primo has 18, and then we move our way through the rest of the ranks. Let's go ahead and check out what the goalies are looking like for us and see what the percentage is and everything like that. Save percentage for Osgood and Mike Vernes is both pretty much a 933, so that's really good. 3 shutouts for Osgood, 1 for Vernon. 4 losses for Osgood, 1 for Vernon, but he's got 25 wins and 31 games played. So, you know, it's not too bad. It's not too bad, honestly. Like if you had a 933 goalie, like you'd be pretty happy no matter what the situation was. So that's pretty good. Let's go ahead and quickly check out what the rest of the NHL is looking like. So skaters, Steven Stamkos and Nikita Kucherov both have 49 points. Of course they do. That's realistic. That's realistic. McDavid with 48. Brock Besser has 45. That is crazy. Ovechkin with 42, 29 goals. Carlson has 41. So we're not doing the greatest to keep up with everything in the NHL right now. We're kind of down there. Stamkos is just tearing it up. So but I mean, you're still young. We still have more months to go, so we can definitely change that around if we can get the things turning around there for us. Goaltending, though, let's check that out while we're here. And Chris Osgood with a 932 save percentage is the most in the league for wins. Does he have the best save percentage in the league, too? UC Saros, I wouldn't really count. Devin Dubnyk has probably the best with a 935, and then Mike Vernon, Ben Bishop, and Chris Osgood, and Connor Hellebuck. So we're pretty good goaltending-wise. Everything else is looking good. Let's go ahead and see more of the simulation. All right, simming through January now. We're going up against Ottawa, which we've played many a times. Another win against that. Florida, another win there. Tampa Bay, we got to get a win against the Lightning. That's a big game. And, of course, I'm going to have to deal with the amateur scout, because they can't just deal with stuff on their own. 5-0 against the Lightning. That's huge. All right, Pittsburgh, got to get a win there. Another win there. Lost to Chicago. That's okay. That's okay. We have 6 losses. We can still make things work with that. We can't go over 13. We need more wins. We need more wins. And there's a win there. There's a win there. That's a big win against Philadelphia. And another shootout loss to Chicago of all teams. It's the Hawks. They're not even that good. 39-6-3 is pretty crazy. I don't want to do that trade at all, though. We're not trading San Jose to end the month, and another shootout loss. So we have 4 losses. We can lose 3 more times in the shootout, I guess, technically, to keep the points the same. But or overtime, I guess, to keep the points the same. But 39-6-4 is still an incredible record. So here we go, going through February now. Carolina lost to Carolina of all teams, 4-1. What is that? I don't want the trades. Sorry, I don't want these trades. And a shootout loss there. So things are starting to trail off for us. 7-5. Overtime win, so that's good. 41-7-5. Can we just get to the trade deadline so they can stop bothering me with the trades now? Oh my gosh. Okay, I don't want to do any of these trades. I'm not bothering to change the block either. 6th overtime win. Okay, that's good. That's good. Screw off with the trades. Nashville now. Got to get the win against Nashville. Carolina, I don't want to trade with you, and it's a loss. Oh, this is not a good month. 8 losses there so far. 9 losses. Oh my gosh. Things are getting tight. Things are getting tight. We honestly, we can't lose like another game, or else it's over with. We'll be over our 13. I mean, we have a couple more months to go. Like, there's still another month after this. There was another loss somewhere in there. Got 9 losses. No, it's an overtime loss. It's still doable. 6-0 against St. Louis. We have all of March and a little of April to go. Can we make it the rest of the year without losing more than 4 times and 3 times in overtime? I think for sure this record is going to be broke here today. Loss against Winnipeg as soon as I say that. Can't lose another 3 games. Can't lose 3 games. Win there. Come on, boys. Win there. Okay, win. Good. Another win. Good. Kate, we could potentially be breaking the record right here. And that's good. And I'm sure, Scout, you need to screw off. Things are getting freaking heated here. Of course, franchise always hits you with this stuff. It's just annoying. San Jose, another win. Okay, we're coming into the home stretch. LA, that's a win. Another win, 56. A win against Colorado, 57, 58. Come on, 59, 60. There we go. There's 60 wins. 60. Oh, man, 61, 62. Oh, come on. Don't do it right here at the end. Don't do it at the end. We're 61-12-5. 63. There you go. We broke the record. And just barely, but we broke the record. 63-14-5 is a new regular season win record. I don't know how many points that is. Let's go ahead and look at that real quickly. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe that they were able to pull it off. Just barely, though. That last month, things came down to the wire. Absolutely. 131 points. So, once again, we beat the record, 131 points, but we don't beat Montreal's 132-point season. That is painful. That is very painful. But 131 points, 63 wins, 14 losses, 5 overtime losses. That is less. It's better than the record. That's the most regular season wins. They broke the record. Oh, that's crazy. That is really crazy. Let's go ahead and check out the statistics to see what happens, and then we'll sim through the playoffs and see if these guys can win a cup. So Steve Yzerman finishes off the year with 84 points, which is pretty good. And then everybody else, Kozlov, there 76. 54 assists for Paul Coffey, so that was pretty damn accurate. 76 points. Fedorov at 75. Larionov at 61. Everything else you can see here, about 40-point players. Bob Rouse, 6 points on the year as the lowest on the team. Goaltending, let's see. Mike Vernon finished the year at a .940 save percentage with 13 wins, 1 loss, and 1 overtime. Osgood had 50 wins, 13 losses, and 4 overtime losses, 8 shutouts. I mean, that's pretty good. Honestly, for 67 games, you won 50 of them, even though the 13 were losses. Like, you can't get mad at them for that. You can't get mad at them for that. That is just incredible. That's a crazy year. That imagine if that happened in real life. What would you be saying? Ovechkin, of course, 98 points, 58 goals, almost hit 60 goals in a season. That is crazy. Kucherov, 90 points, Stamkos, 88, Besser at 85, Backstrom at 85, Steve Yzerman, 84, up there in the ranking. So, we were in the top 10 for points, at least, with one guy there. So, I can't complain all at all. Jonathan Marchessault had 79 points on Vegas. That is definitely very good. Let's go ahead and sim the playoffs and see if these guys can win a cup. So here we are. First round of the Stanley Cup playoffs is going up against the Pittsburgh Penguins. So, man, let's see. I think we had a pretty good year against Pittsburgh. So 3-2 loss to start things off. That's good. Is this going to be a reenactment of what happened? 3-0 win. There you go. Come on, boys. 5-4 overtime win. That was a high-scoring game. We got to get the Stanley Cup. We just got to get the cup this year. So, potentially last game for Pittsburgh. Overtime win, we do beat the Penguins. So, round 1 is done with. We basically just have to get to round 3. We basically have to get to the Stanley Cup to have a better year than these guys did. They did lose to Colorado in 95. In today's NHL, they could potentially have a better round. So, Boston game 1 of round 2, the Boston Bruins, 4-2. So, 7-3 win there. We're 5-1. Hopefully, we don't lose that many games. A 4-1 win against the Bruins. Let's just send these 2 games real quick. 4-1 win, a win there, and we swept the Boston Bruins in the second round for 8-1. That is an incredible playoff record. 8-1. Wow, that's crazy. These guys are just tearing it up. Coming up against round 3 Washington Capitals. So it looks like they've made it past the second round this year. Ovechkin did have a tear of a year, so that makes sense. So first game there, overtime win. Second game here, loss and a win there. So our second loss of the playoffs is okay. It's okay. We can deal with that. So we're up 3. Holy crap. 7-0 win. Oh my gosh. They just lit up Braden Holtby that game. Last game. Here we go. 1-0 win. There we go. So that is done with. And we are playing the St. Louis Blues for the Stanley Cup. So right now I would say the season went better than it did in 95-96. 12-2 in the playoffs. Definitely had less losses in the playoffs. Going up against the Blues. So game number 1 is a loss. Great start, boys. Great start. So next game, overtime win. That's what I like to see. Next game here. Let's go ahead, overtime wins. So 2 overtime wins now. Third game, fourth game is another loss. So things are tied up 2-2. Another game here, there's a win. So potentially this game could be the win to give this Detroit Red Wings team the Stanley Cup in today's NHL. Let's go ahead and just check out the goals, and we're going to increase the sim speed there. And let's see this. So we need some goals here, boys. You guys got to win the game. That's basically all it needs to happen here. So first goal, we got Erie there on Jake Allen scoring the first goal. So that's good. Good to see. Good to see. Let's keep going. Keep things rolling. Here we go, boys. Here we go. 2 minutes left. 1 minute left in the first period, and we're going to keep it at a 1-goal game. So first period is done. Erie gets the first goal. Kyle Brodziak scores from a weird angle on Ozzy. That's okay. Power play, boys. Come on, put it in the back of the net. They couldn't do it there. 11 minutes. Here we go. What's going to happen here? It's all tied up now. Shots are pretty even. St. Louis ahead by a bit. Power play for St. Louis. Come on, turn that away. Turn that away. Oh, my God. What happened there? That was a long power play. So, after 2, it is tied 1-1, and we're coming down to the end of the game. St. Louis, Braden Shen gets a goal, and Chris Osgood there is what happens. And then Larionov says, no way, we're going to tie things up right here. We're tying things up in this here game. 10 minutes to go. What is going to happen? And Jay Bouwmeester scores on Chris Osgood. Is there going to be a reaction from Detroit? Or are they going to roll over and take this one is the question here. And there you go. Barbashev gets one on Chris Osgood, and that is going to end the game. St. Louis walks away with that one. 3 stars of that game are Jake Allen, Bouwmeester, and Brodziak. Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. Who would have thought that this is what it would come down to? Game 7 right here. But here we are. We're going to be simming the game once again, and hopefully we can get that Stanley Cup. So goals, we're going to increase that sim speed to 8. Let's go ahead and see what happens. So power play off the bat, boys. Come on. There you go. Steve Yzerman gets a power play goal, and Detroit goes right back on the power play. So already 1-0 in the first period, and Edmondson gets a goal right back. We're tied up again. Need more shots, boys. We got to be more aggressive out there. 10-10 for shots is pretty even. 12 there as the minute goes by, and that's the end of the first. So things are tied up 1-1 in the first period. Going into the second now. Who is going to be the scorer for us? Who's going to be the savior? I'm calling on Sergei Fedorov. I'm saying you need to get a goal out there. I haven't seen your name come up yet. Power play there turned away. Paul Coffey, you need to get the assist on Fedorov's goal. I think that would just be the icing on the cake. Let's continue to go here. Second period, and nothing is going to happen in the second period. So, still tied up, and everything pretty much even shots there. 1-1 tie. Let's see what happens as things progress on. Power play, don't let that in, boys. Come on, there you go. Good kill, good kill. Let's go. Let's keep going. Might go to overtime here. Power play, come on, boys. We got to put that in the back of the net. Come on, somebody. That's going on forever. Oh, my gosh. Scotty Upshaw. Oh, no. That's going to do it, isn't it? Yeah, it is. They lost. Oh, my gosh. They lost the Stanley Cup by Scotty Upshaw's goal. In Game 7, Jake Allen played an incredible game. 28 saves, had a better save percentage than save percentage than Aussie there. Upshaw there with 1 goal and a hit. Oh, that's heartbreaking. After breaking the record, making it to the Stanley Cup final, and losing Game 7 of the final. Pretty damn even record in the playoffs. 16-7, 15-6. Oh, that's hard. That's hard to swallow. That's hard to swallow. I mean, we beat the St. Louis Notes won the AHL too. That's incredible. That is incredible. So let's go ahead and we're gonna sim up to here. We're gonna check out the final awards, and that's gonna be it for the video. They did beat the record though, so they beat what I was setting out for them to beat this video. Honestly, they beat the record, and that is the important thing. So let's go ahead and we're gonna continue simming, and let's go look at the awards. So the Stanley Cup, of course, going to the St. Louis Blues. Fair enough. President's Trophy goes to us, so we get that once again. Clarence Campbell goes to the St. Louis Blues, and we're going to take the Prince of Wales Trophy there. Let's get into the player awards. So Art Ross goes to Ovechkin. Hart goes to Ovechkin. James Norris goes to Paul Coffey. Of course, that was just an incredible season for him. Lady Byng goes to Backstrom. Calder goes to Besser. Conn Smythe to Braden Shen. Oh, yeah, okay. Why was I thinking that was the Vezina for a second? So Braden Shen gets the Vezina. Osgood should have gotten the Braden Shen gets the Conn Smythe. Osgood should get, and he does, gets the Vezina. William N. Jennings also goes to Osgood there. Lindell gets the Masterson Trophy. Fedorov gets the Selke. Ted Lindsay goes to Ovechkin, and the Maurice Richard also goes to Ovechkin. So quite the year for Ovechkin. That's 4 awards for him. The Art Ross, the Hart, the Lindsay, and the Maurice Richard. Incredible season for him. Incredible season for us. We beat the record. That was what the video was about, to see what would happen if the Red Wings played in today's NHL. So here are your final statistics for the team. 63 wins, 14 losses, 5 overtime losses. Regulation plus overtime wins was 60, so whatever, that's fine. Point percentage, 79%. 282 goals for, 3.44 goals a game. Of course, my controller wants to continue to disconnect. That's always cool. 179 goals against for about 2 goals against per game. 47 power play goals, 196 total power plays. So 24% on the penalty or on the power play percentage, which is good. 1 shorthanded goal against. Power play goals against was 45. 258 penalties in the year. That's quite high, but a penalty. It wasn't the worst penalty kill percentage. That was pretty good for being for 258 and only letting in 45. That's pretty good. Shorthanded goals for. Home record there is 37-4. The away record was 33-7-1. And the last 10 games they went 6-4-0, which was probably the worst stretch of the season for them. So yeah, that is basically the video. That's what I'm going to be doing a little bit here on the channel. I'm going to be doing these videos of creating these old historic teams that did great things or bad things in the NHL and seeing how they stack up in today's NHL. So if you guys liked the video, definitely be sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already to stay up to date with these kinds of videos in the future. They're definitely very fun to do. It's incredible to see what a bunch of players from 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago could do in today's NHL on sim basis. So if you guys have any ideas for new videos like this, definitely be sure to leave it in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time.